Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Jordan's vlogs. And at the rate we're going, he's not going to be a novice much longer. So this was a 5-3-1 deload week for him. He needs it because of the nature of him playing sports, all the GPP he does, and because of all the axial loading involved with what we've been doing with a very squat and deadlift intensive program. He really needs these deload weeks. He really needs these deload weeks. However, he's been collecting equipment. He's got chains. He's got some specialty bars because he told me, he's like, Coach, I want to run conjugate. I mean, a lot of your people do have good success on it. I've watched Mike's vlogs, Emma's vlogs. I know you have quite a few other guys on conjugate. He's like, well, let me come over and do it. I want to try it. So he's got some of the necessary equipment, I think, easily our minimum buy-in to make it work. And we're going to do that. He'd ask about bands, of course. And it's like, well, your setup is not ideal for bands right now. But we can do chains. And, you can get chains at hardware stores. And so he's getting all that organized. We'll be ready to start it this coming week because he wants to try. And he's an athlete, so the system works great. Now, that being said, what does our deload weeks look like? It's what I like to do for deloads because guys are already usually running 50% for 10s after their plus sets on, say something like this, like a 5-3-1-ish, because this is really a squat bench deadlift version that we've been doing. So on a system like that, what I like to do for deload weeks, we come in and we do 5x10 on their classic lifts on those same days at 40% training max for 5 sets of 10. Okay, 40%. And then we do some of their other little supplemental work, so that they get some blood flow, but we do it all lighter. I want everything like 5 reps in reserve. In his case, we do some barbell rows. Well, we're not seeing those on this day. You're seeing like some leg work, right? Some split squats. Bench day, of course, we do the 40% for 5 sets of 10. We want everything pretty, everything clean. And then, of course, I have him do some barbell rows with just an empty barbell. And for some of my guys who are a lot stronger, obviously we'll do something besides a barbell. But I like to just do some empty barbell rows or light dumbbell rows for these guys when they do this. We still continue GPP and everything. We continue all their other stuff. But I like that. I like them to do a little bit of band work. All right, we do a little bit of band work, and it works. Works pretty well. And a lot of times I get lifters who go, well, I don't understand the idea. Why are we doing deloads? Why are we doing deloads? Why can't I just take time off? What's the point? And those are sort of clients you have to fire because they're unmotivated. Because especially with novices, who might need more novice lifters, you've got to keep them in that habit of training, right? We don't want to disrupt the habit of training. Not good. Because again, we build discipline with habits. Number 2, we maintain movement patterns. Okay. People were like, but for a long time, you were taking 7 or 8 deloads a year where you took the time off because I was traveling. I talk about being my personal life. I was flying to see a girlfriend for years. And that's what I was doing with those deload weeks. And I couldn't go to a public gym because I didn't want people to know where I was or who I was with. So in that context, that probably makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? Why did I take weeks off? That's what was up. That was what was going on. And I just had some kettlebells and bands and, other things that I used at her place. Right? But yeah, that's what I was doing with my deload weeks. And that's why. But I'm an advanced lifter. Had I come in and done something similar to this, it probably would have been better. So now people know what was up with my deloads. All right. Now, that being said, as you guys saw, he did some band work. And then deadlift day, we just come in and do deadlifts, right? Just deadlifts, get a good pump, work everything good, clean, controlled form. But yeah, he came in and just did 5x10 deadlifts. There's no need to overcomplicate it beyond that. No need to overcomplicate it beyond that. That's all he needed to do, 5 sets of deadlifts. On the other days, what did we do? We did some split squats after the squatting. We did some empty barbell rows. Bench day, we benched, did barbell rows, did some tricep band press downs. Deadlift day, we do 40%, 5x10 deadlifts. Okay? And that's enough. That's enough. That gets the job done. We maintain the movement patterns. We stay active. But it's not a recovery issue because this is so light and so far from failure in general that we can now get caught back up on recovery. We respark some muscle protein synthesis because people forget that too. They're like, are people going to grow on their deload weeks? Of course. If you trained pretty hard and we need deloads, why wouldn't you gain muscle on your deload weeks? Okay. All that data that we used to have on I used to talk about with the muscle protein synthesis, guess what? It's turned out to not really be true or as important as we thought it was. People were gaining muscle a week after a workout, and the muscles worked all the time. And that's one of those where I said I had to eat crow on it. It's time. I have to just shut up and admit the data I was following for years was wrong. Muscles grow longer than we realize. And it's the accumulation of work, the accumulation of that fatigue that matters. It's why programming isn't as black and white as people like to make it to be. And that's why people like me and some of the better coaches I know, we don't look at training programming the same way other people do. Not people who only have 4 or 5 years of experience. We don't see it the same way. We understand the importance of that flow. And the deload for a lifter like this contributes to that. It recontinues the growth process more effectively. That's what it does. They continue to grow, even though the weights are light because of the accumulated previous fatigue. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.